Welcome to the Sovereignty Method, a direct path to reclaiming authority over your own nervous system. This isn't about managing symptoms. It's about fundamentally updating your conditioned fear responses. We're talking about a self-directed neuroplastic protocol designed for permanent change. You possess the innate capacity to rewrite the very code of your fear. This method empowers you to engage with your own biology, transforming outdated threat responses into states of mastery. Prepare to understand the mechanism of your own liberation. You understand the truth, yet your body betrays it, launching into alarm despite your conscious certainty of safety. This is the fundamental disconnect we address. The mind has updated, but the body remains trapped in old programming. Your heart races, heat surges, and startle responses fire without your consent. This gap between your intellect and your physiology is precisely what the Sovereignty Method was built to bridge. We're here to solve the problem of your body running unauthorized programming. Let's explore how this profound realization first emerged. This fundamental problem became starkly clear through two distinct phobias, revealing two separate pathways to a singular, powerful revelation. After a dog attack and a bee sting in childhood, my body encoded fear that my adult mind had long since dismissed. The mind had evolved, but the body had not. Through self-designed, intuitive intervention, I completely eliminated both fear responses. This wasn't suppression or management. It was total eradication. This direct experience became the undeniable proof of concept for the entire framework. This revelation showed that corrective experience, not aggression, is the universal mechanism for change. This leads us to the core claim of this method. The conventional wisdom tells you to manage your anxiety, but the Sovereignty Method demands you update it. We assert that fear responses can be rewritten, not merely coped with. Our mechanistic target is the full updating of the learned fear response, aiming for permanent elimination in specific cases. This isn't a philosophical stance. It's a testable neurobiological claim, firmly grounded in memory reconsolidation science. You are not a passive recipient of fear. You are the architect of your own neural landscape. This process is possible because your brain operates as a prediction engine, not a reactive one. Your brain isn't just reacting to reality. It's actively predicting it, constantly generating expectations and comparing them against incoming data. This is the free energy principle, a cornerstone of modern neuroscience. Emotions, then, are not hardwired reactions. They are constructed predictions based on your past experiences and internal signals. Anxiety, in this light, is a prediction error. Your brain is running an outdated calculation based on old data. The protocol works by delivering new, experiential data that forces your prediction system to recalculate, correcting the error. But why does this error persist even when you consciously understand it? You understand it. Your body doesn't care. This slide reveals why insight alone cannot dismantle a conditioned fear response. We're talking about the fundamental gap between conscious understanding and subcortical programming. Joseph Ledoux's work illuminates two distinct neural pathways for fear. The low road is fast, automatic, and bypasses conscious thought, triggering physiological alarm in milliseconds. The high road, where your rational understanding resides, is slower and involves cortical processing. This is why talk therapy, while valuable, often feels insufficient for embodied fear. It primarily addresses the high road, leaving the body's alarm system on the low road untouched. Your brain's prediction engine, as we discussed, is getting the math wrong based on outdated data. Now, let's explore how we can actually edit that data. This is the game changer. Fear memories are not immutable. They are not locked away permanently. Building on the understanding of the mind-body lag, we now confront a foundational scientific discovery. In 2000, Nader, Schaaf, and Ledoux shattered a core assumption. Consolidated memories can be rewritten. When you reactivate a fear memory, it enters a neurochemically labeled state, an editing window of approximately 5 hours. During this window, you can introduce new, contradictory experiential data. The memory then reconsolidates, restoring with that new information incorporated. This means you aren't just creating a new, good memory alongside the old bad one. You are editing the original, This mechanism is the scientific bedrock for the claim of permanent fear elimination. But how do we ensure this new learning sticks? The brain learns through repetition. Donald Hebb's principle, neurons that fire together wire together, is not just a catchy phrase. It's a fundamental law of neuroplasticity. This applies in both directions. If a single traumatic event can install a fear pattern, and your mind then replays that pattern thousands of times, then strong learning in the opposite direction demands equivalent repetition. The protocol's requirement for 50 to 200 repetitions is not arbitrary. It is the Hebbian requirement for forging a new dominant pathway. This new pathway must compete with and eventually override the old one. We're not just hoping for change, we're engineering it through consistent, directed effort. But what if we can't always access the real-world scenarios for this repetition? Here's the exploit. Your brain cannot distinguish vivid imagination from reality. This is not a bug. It's the mechanism we leverage. Giacomo Rizzolotti's work on mirror neurons and fMRI studies confirm that imagined and actual experiences activate similar neural machinery. This includes amygdala engagement and autonomic nervous system responses. This bidirectional principle explains why trauma persists. Involuntary mental rehearsal re-experiences threat. But it also explains why healing is possible. Voluntary rehearsal provides new experiential data. Emotional intensity, not duration, is the critical factor. The amygdala responds to emotional charge. This insight allows us to create the necessary repetitions, even when real-world exposure isn't immediately feasible. But what kind of new data are we introducing? You cannot be prey and predator simultaneously. This is the incompatible states principle. Research on approach avoidance motivation shows that fear and dominance are neurologically incompatible. Your nervous system cannot maintain a full sympathetic fear state and a full approach or dominance state at the same time. Corrective simulations don't just reduce fear. They install an incompatible state that makes fear physiologically impossible in that moment. Over repetitions, this incompatible state becomes the new default. The crucial upgrade is that dominance isn't the only incompatible state. The correct state is whichever most directly falsifies the specific threat prediction. This is how we actively rewrite the prediction. Now, let's look at the specific brain structures involved in this process. We've established that you cannot be in a state of fear and a state of dominance simultaneously. But how does this translate into actual, measurable change in the brain? The sovereignty method doesn't just target one area. It orchestrates change across 4 interconnected brain systems. This isn't about isolated fixes. It's about distributed, systemic updating. We engage the amygdala, the brain's threat detector, through extinction learning and competing activation. We restore the hippocampus's ability to contextualize memory, ensuring the threat is recognized as then, not now. We strengthen the prefrontal cortex's top-down regulation, building genuine structural change, not mere suppression. And we recategorize interoceptive signals in the insula, changing what body sensations mean. This integrated approach ensures comprehensive, lasting transformation. Now, let's reframe the very nature of the problem we're solving. You are not broken. You are running old code. This is the most clinically vital reframe in the entire framework. Anxiety isn't a defect. It's outdated software, a prediction error on plastic hardware. This distinction is crucial because it shifts the narrative from shame to actionable training logic. When you view yourself as a trainable system, not a damaged one, you unlock the capacity for self-directed rewiring. This metaphor isn't just branding. It operationalizes the science, making it accessible for your nervous system to engage with. It's the precise point where the grip of shame begins to dissolve. So, how do we begin to rewrite this code? Let's look at the systematic approach. The method is a training system, not a therapy. This protocol operates through 8 sequential stages, each meticulously designed to update your nervous system. These stages are universal. They apply regardless of your specific challenge. We begin by screening for appropriateness and safety, then precisely define your target. We identify the core prediction error, reach its root meaning, and choose the correct corrective state. Next, we design the corrective experience, calibrate its intensity, and then repeat and reality test. This structured approach ensures that every step contributes to a measurable, verifiable change. But for this system to work, precision is paramount. Vagueness is the enemy of nervous system training. You cannot train what you cannot precisely define. Social anxiety is not a trainable target. Walking into a room of strangers and believing I will visibly fail in the first 30 seconds. That is, your target sentence must specify the situation, the body's reaction, and the feared consequence. Then we go deeper. Every target contains two distortions: an overpredicted danger and an underpredicted capacity. We use a downward arrow sequence to reach the root meaning, stopping when your body responds. That somatic signal marks the true target. This level of precision is non-negotiable for effective training. Once we have that precise target, we can select the right intervention. With a precise target in mind, we then choose the corrective state. This is where version 3 of the method truly evolves. Dominance is not the universal corrective. There are 7 distinct corrective states, each engineered to falsify a specific threat logic. Whether it's dominance for a prey state, self-assertion for disappearing, protection for a need for safety, or calm curiosity for vague threats, the choice is critical. We also have intactness under exposure, compassionate authority for self-attack, and structured competence for chaos. The question isn't which state sounds strongest. It's which state most directly disproves your old prediction. This tailored approach ensures maximum impact. Now, let's talk about how we deliver that corrective experience. The corrective experience is where the body finally learns what the mind already knows. This isn't passive reflection. It's active, embodied learning that rewrites your threat predictions. Your simulations must activate the old threat network, but you must introduce a different outcome. The experience must end differently than the old prediction expected, and you must feel that difference viscerally. If you feel nothing, the amygdala isn't engaged, and no reconsolidation is occurring. Now, let's talk about how to make these experiences stick. Intensity, repetition, and reality testing are non-negotiable for true neuroplastic change. You need to calibrate your intensity to the 4 to 7 zone. Below that, the amygdala isn't engaged, and above it, you're overwhelmed. Track your intensity, and when a scenario drops below 4, escalate. The final proof isn't how good the theory sounds. It's whether your body still launches the old reaction when the real trigger appears. Real-world testing keeps this framework honest. Next, we'll explore how different entry points can optimize this process for you. The mechanism is universal, but your entry point is personal. Not everyone learns through vivid internal visualization. Some require different channels. For those with aphantasia, verbal semantic simulation, somatic embodiment, or auditory cues are crucial. If you lack an inner monologue, physical enactment or breath work can be your master control. Multi-channel stacking, using visual, verbal, somatic, postural, musical, and respiratory channels simultaneously, creates the strongest prediction errors. This recruits multiple neural circuits, all converging on the amygdala. But even with the right channels, we must understand the limits of this work. Strength through honesty means naming the limits of this method. This protocol is not for everyone in every state. If the protocol repeatedly leaves you less oriented, less functional, or more fragmented, you're using it at the wrong dose, level, or phase. Circumscribed fears and mild anxiety are green lights. Significant dissociation or complex trauma are yellow lights, requiring greater structure. Active suicidality or psychosis are red lights. Stabilization and clinical support come first. Understanding these boundaries is crucial for effective, self-directed work. This leads us to the true meaning of sovereignty. Sovereignty is not the absence of activation. It is authority over it. It doesn't mean you'll never feel activation again, or that you need no one. It means progressively recovering authority over how your nervous system is interpreted, trained, and engaged. The core mechanism of fear updating is a human capacity, not a professional service. The conventional therapy model often positions practitioners as intermediaries between you and your own nervous system. The sovereignty method removes that intermediary. You are the authority.